Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Current Issues. I'm your host, Hesham Tillawi. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going all the way live to Jerusalem to speak with Mordechai Vanunu. We had Mordechai back here in 2005. He is the Israeli nuclear technician who very much told the world that Israel has nuclear bombs to destroy the world 10 times over. He was arrested, actually kidnapped, smuggled back to Israel from Europe, spent 18 years in solitary confinement, actually 18 years in jail. We're going to go through all the details, and some of that time was in solitary confinement. I think it was 11 years. And he is trying to get out. But the Israelis will not let him get out. I don't know why, because he paid his dues. He was in jail for 15 years for what they had, for whatever crime that he had committed. But now he is a prisoner in his own home. We're going to have Mordechai Vanunu with us in a couple of minutes, and we will tell you more about Mordechai and what he had done. And probably a lot of us could not even come close to achieving what he has achieved or enduring what he had endured. You know, they probably need to put Prime Minister Olmert in jail because he did say that Israel has nuclear bombs. And then he forgot that the official Israeli policy or position that they don't have nuclear bombs. So he took back what he said and said the government issued a statement saying that that's not what he said. Well, of course, the Israeli nuclear bombs dates back way back to the 1950s, as a matter of fact, their nuclear program. It's not something new. The Israelis tried and succeeded in getting a nuclear weapons program a long time ago. As a matter of fact, we are after Iran now for their peaceful nuclear program that Israel, by the way, and the United States were the ones who started helping Iran building those nuclear plants when the Shah of Iran was in power. So if we are going to blame anyone for the Iranians' nuclear program, let's blame the American administrations and the Israelis, because they were the ones to help them. And they did. They did. But Israel tried and tried. Of course, it failed. The whole world knows that she does have nuclear bombs. She has more than 200 nuclear bombs. But yet we think that Iran, with a peaceful nuclear program, that somehow will threaten world peace. Israel is the only one in the region that has not signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which is the treaty that says that we will not have nuclear bombs in our country. They have not signed that. But yet they're saying that they don't have it. Now, what is the danger with Israel having a nuclear bomb? Well, if you have listened to some of their leaders speaking, you will see that the whole world needs to be afraid, not afraid, but concerned, and need to work on disarming Israel from its nuclear powers. That's what the world should do. That's what the world community should do, is to disarm Israel of its nuclear bombs, because we do not want to see another Hiroshima. And these people have threatened to use that. It was only a couple of years back when one of their generals actually said that we can destroy every city in Europe. Talk about vengeance here, aren't they? Talk about mentality, the mentality of the whole country, who think that God wants them to kill and kill and kill to redeem themselves. People who think that God wants them to cleanse the land of Palestine from the Christians and the Muslims because it's Jewish only. And they believe in that. And they're armed with nuclear bombs. And forget about the nuclear bombs. Nuclear weapons, ladies and gentlemen, is not something that is only to destroy big cities. You can throw little bombs on neighborhoods, and we have seen what Israel had done when it used nuclear enriched weapons. Before we go to our guest, Mordechai Vanunu, let me go to a caller that has not called the program in a long time. Freedom, you're up.
Yes. Yes, hello, Dr. Tillawi. Look, I just would like you to comment on these two things I want to say. Admiral Fallon, the guy who was in charge of the Central Command, 42 years in the military.
Right.
There's a story out now that George Bush wanted him to find a way to attack Iran, and he said that
not
he
on my watch.
The Third World War, and that's why he was really suited.
Right.
And I want to. You heard that? You heard what I just said? Right.
Yes.
And also, it seems as if Fox and his Jewish allies, AIPAC, has gone after Barack Obama's church because they had an article about Hamas in one of their church papers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hamas wrote an article for the Los Angeles Times, and the church took it from the Los Angeles Times and put it in one of their bulletins. And now it appears that AIPAC and Fox is gone after Barack Obama. Do you think that the Jewish lobby will try to stop Barack's campaign? Thanks.
Thank you. Well, very quickly, about Admiral Fallon, we have told you here 6 months ago that Admiral Fallon fell out with the Bush administration. And he told him 6 months ago that he will not attack Iran. Actually, he said it's not going to happen on my watch. And he was relieved of his duties because he said that. Of course, it took, we told you this when it happened, but it took mainstream media about 6 months to bring you that news. But the other thing with Barack Obama, ladies and gentlemen, I think everybody now realizes that there was no seriousness about getting Barack to the White House. Barack was used to accomplish something, and they very much accomplishing that thing. Bring him up and then bring him down. Bring him up so we can keep out some of these people, because look, we know, everybody knows, America is not ready to elect an African-American president. I don't care what everybody says. All it takes is 2 weeks for the media to start hammering him, and you can see his poll. He is going down in the polls because 2 weeks, just 2 weeks of the media talking about his pastor. Now, his pastor did not say much about 9/11 that most of us did. He very much was in line with a lot of these this truth movement people have said. And yes, they are going, AIPAC is going to go after him because they know an African American in the White House will not be too friendly to Israel, even though he told them, and he went down there to Israel, and he went to many AIPAC functions, and he told them, look, I am one of your guys, you just tell me what you want me to do, and I will do it. That's what Barack said. Okay? But they know deep down inside that Barack really did not mean it, because he knows better. And that's what they think. They don't trust that he is going. But you know what? In my opinion, this is the guy that we want in the White House if we want to have world peace. This is a guy who might say, look, okay, we guarantee you your security, which you really don't need any more security when you have more than 200 nuclear bombs. Don't think you need more security with these Palestinian kids that are throwing rocks at you, and they escalated this to homemade rockets that only 12 people died in the last 12 years from these rockets. So forget about this security thing. You are secured. You have your military. You have the arsenal that you have, the weapons arsenal that you have, and you also have the might of the United States behind you. That's what Barak would tell them, and he will also tell them, let's make peace. Let's make peace once and for all. But I agree, AIPAC will tear him down, and they are. Don't tell me, ladies and gentlemen, that we did not have the information about Barak. And I told you on this program, I said, hey, look, let him, they are going to fatten him up for the slaughter. And when the slaughter comes, they're going to go after him. And you know what? They are going after him to catch him, and then it'll be over. Anyhow, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be actually following and talking about Barak and what is happening with Barak and why was he used and how was he used in this particular election, and what they had accomplished by bringing Barak on. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest for tonight is Mordechai Vanunu. He was born in Morocco on October 13th, 1954. Moved to Israel with his family. He is a former Israeli nuclear technician who revealed details of Israel's nuclear weapons program to the British press in 1986. He was subsequently kidnapped in Rome by Israeli agents and smuggled to Israel, where he was tried and convicted of treason. Mordechai Vanunu spent 18 years in prison, including more than 11 years in solitary confinement. Vanunu was released from prison in 2004, subject to a broad array of restrictions on his speech and movement. Since then, he has been briefly arrested several times for violations of those restrictions, including giving various interviews to foreign journalists and attempting to leave Israel. There is a gag order. He is not supposed to be talking to foreign journalists like this program. He is not supposed to be talking to us. He is breaking his, there is a prohibition that he is not to talk, otherwise he will be breaking his probation rules. In 2007, Vanunu was sentenced to 6 months in prison for violating terms of his parole, which is actually that he spoke to us back in 2005, and he violated that gag order. The sentence was considered unusual even by the prosecutor, who expected a suspended sentence, but instead he served the time. And actually, in response, Amnesty International issued a press release on July 2, 2007, stating that the organization considers Mordechai Vanunu to be a prisoner of conscience and calls for his immediate and unconditional release. Vanunu has been characterized by some as a whistleblower and by others as a traitor. And it is a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to have Mordechai Vanunu on the program with us tonight. It is 3 o'clock in the morning in Jerusalem, so we really appreciate that he took the time to be with us at this time. Mordechai, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good to hear from you, and I'm wishing you a very good program tonight with me.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure we will. Mordechai, I mean, you spent 18 years in prison. Just most people know why, but let's go ahead for the benefit of our viewers who don't know you. Tell me. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What is it that you had done for the Israelis to throw you in jail?
Well, as I said many times since my release, and I published, the story is that I worked in the Dimona nuclear reactor for 9 years as a technician in the most important secret place underground, 7 store underground. In that place they produced, and my job was to produce the material for the bomb, plutonium. And also during the years they start producing new materials for hydrogen bomb and neutron bomb. And I decided to bring this information to the world because Israel is officially denying they have the bomb. So
now,
I was.
What year was that when you worked for the at the Dimona plant?
I worked during this from 77 to 85, 1977 to 1985.
In 77, how many nuclear bombs did Israel have back then?
At least at that time, they had maybe 100 because they used to produce every year around 10 bombs, 40 kilogram plutonium. That was my information.
Now, what was your job exactly at the Dimona nuclear plant? What was your job?
My job was to produce the materials for the bomb, the plutonium. The plutonium, the most important material for the bomb, that was the Dimona factory doing. They called it the nuclear research for peace, but in fact it was nuclear weapons factory in secret.
And how much were you producing?
My job was to produce every day, and my calculation is that they make around 40 kilograms each year.
40 kilograms each year.
It's enough for 10 bombs. 4 kilograms is enough for one Hiroshima bomb.
Okay. Now tell me, at that time, did you feel like you are doing something so great for your country, making nuclear bombs?
At that time, I didn't know what I'm doing there in the beginning, but I believe at that time that maybe Israel making 1 bomb, 2 bombs for surviving, as they publish in the world, and everyone knows that Israel Dimona nuclear factory doing something like this. But since I realized how many beyond the real surviving, that it's more for destroying all the region, I felt that my obligation is to prevent the future nuclear war and to prevent the destruction of all the world. So for that reason I decided to come and speak, because I realized they produce too much, and also I started producing plutonium, but in few years I start producing lithium-6. Lithium-6 is for hydrogen bomb. Hydrogen bomb is not for surviving. Hydrogen bomb is for destroying big cities, dam, like Aswan Dam, you can destroy hydrogen bomb, such things. So that it means something totally crazy was going there.
Okay. Now, at that time, you were still in the Jewish faith, of course, right?
At that time, I was in the age of rejecting Judaism, because I started rejecting it from young age. And during these years, while I was working in Dimona, I was studying philosophy in the Beersheba University. I have a degree in philosophy. And I was questioning all this religion and all these faiths, and start searching for my life and my beliefs.
Okay. And now, let's talk about that belief, because a couple of weeks ago with the incident at the Merkaz in Jerusalem, it brought to light many stories of who these people really are and what they believe. And these people believe that, and I've read what their leaders said, that as a Jew you are different than a non-Jew completely, and also that God has chosen this piece of land and gave it to the Jews as a gift, and for you to redeem yourself you have to cleanse the land from the people who live on it, just like the Bible said in Numbers chapter 33, and that's what these people believe in. Were you, as a young man, were you taught that theology, that you are better than non-Jews?
Well, that is Judaism, that is Jewish religion, that is what they give to every child since he was born, and that's what I also was raised up when I was in Morocco with my family, my parents, my father, my mother, all the Jewish there in Morocco was reading the Bible and believing it literally, every word by word. That is true, and that it is by God. So they teach me since young age that we, the Jewish, are the God-chosen people, the only God-chosen people, the only God children. And I, since the age of 14, 15, start opening my mind, asking, what is wrong with other 6 billion people? How come that only 6 million are God-chosen people? I didn't find any superiority in these people than all the world.
Let me just...
And also...
Mordechai, let me just go back a little bit. I wanted to see, did you actually feel it inside yourself that at one time that you are better and superior to other humans?
No, that is what awakened me, that I saw, well, what about all these people in Europe, in the United States, in all the world? I don't see any superiority in these Jewish people, especially. I know that the Israelis exist only at that time 20 years or 30 years, and all the world were running, and production, all the world would exist in material, in education, and everything is come by others, not by the Jewish people. So how come that these people are superior than all those who built and developed the history of the last 2,000 years?
Okay.
So for that reason, I rejected this faith and belief from young age.
How many, if we look at the Israeli society now, and you are an expert on that because you lived in Israeli society, how many do you think they really believe that they are superior to humans? Do we talk about 50%, 60% feel that they are God's chosen people and they are divine? They have divine nature?
My belief is that maybe 90 to 95 believing. Only maybe 5% of the Jewish here are having open mind and can see that they are human beings like every human.
So what you're saying, it doesn't matter if they are these people on the most extreme of the Orthodox, or if they are most extreme on the Reform, that 95% of Israeli citizens or 95% of Jews think of themselves as superior to other humans?
The Orthodox are totally believing in this faith, but others also born and raised in this faith from the beginning, from their circumcision, from their following the prayer, or their celebrating the Passover or Yom Kippur, all these beliefs, even if they are not Orthodox, if they are not even not believing every day, they have some things to celebrate every year. That's reminding them that they are the only God-chosen people, the only God people who was coming back to this land, and this land belongs to them.
Okay, now when you were growing up and going to school there, what did they teach you about the land and about other people who live on the land, such as the Palestinian Christians and Muslims?
That is, you can just read the Old Testament, read all the Old Testament and all the history, and they take it literally word by word as true. It's not something that someone wrote it, but something that really represents God. God gives it to them, and this land belongs to the Jewish, and it's waiting for them. And it's, if not, then God will bring them back again, and the Messiah will come and give them this land and make them the masters of the world. And that is this faith is based on the God promise, and the God going to make them the masters of the world, and all the world will be a slave, will be servants of these Jewish people here. That is the majority belief. The Orthodox, they are very waiting for his belief. The others, about 70%, they think maybe not. And for that reason, the Zionists come, they say, cannot wait for God and the Messiah to come. We will come and take it by power and do it by power.
Okay.
If this Jewish state established now, they try to prove it. These Israelis, these seculars who don't believe in God, they say they believe they are superior and they want to be superior in everything, so they want to win in the football games, in basketball games, and to be the super pilot, the super spy, the super scientist, everything. They believe they are superior and they want to prove it every day, by everywhere.
Okay. So now let's get into you. What is it that you did tell this British agency or British newspaper that you just know they have a weapons program?
I worked there 9 years, and I worked in the most important place, and I smuggled camera inside and took photos of the place where I was working. And I also took photos from other departments. I was not allowed to be there, but those departments was the places where they assembled the bomb. And I took photos because I knew I'm going to speak to the media and I need to prove what I said.
Well, so how did you smuggle the camera in there? I mean, back then we didn't have those little cameras. Was it like a Mossad camera?
No, normal camera, but you are right, they have orders in the gate, don't bring camera to this place, but I used to come to my work with books to read because I was studying in university, so every day I was coming to my bag and so I put the camera under the books, and no one checking my bags. They trust me, I was working there 8 years, so no one suspecting me that I will do such acts. It was not a big problem. I just smuggled camera and 2 films and took photos while there was no one, and took back the camera out, and after that took the film out, and even didn't develop them, keep them undeveloped. I didn't want to develop them in Israel because I knew it could reach this news to the spy. So I smuggled and developed 2 films outside of Israel, and the only place I can publish this story and the newspaper will publish it could be only out of Israel. I can have no chance that you can do it in Israel because the newspaper, the media are working with the Shabbat, Israelis, FBI, CIA of Israel, and they will report to them the media stop it.
Okay.
So that was my target, to get out of the film, and I succeeded to get out and come to London and give it to the London. And I told them the details of the photos about my work to convince them that I'm really work there because they were suspecting that maybe someone from the Mossad speaking to them. So I used to I tried to convince them by telling them all the details of the production, my work, and the photos also.
Okay. Now, you said they had 200 bombs back then, and if they continued at the same rate, they probably have a couple of hundred more by now. And I had experts who estimated that they probably have between, like a for sure figure based on the numbers, about 150 nuclear bombs. But you know, Israel did not record every bit of uranium that they have received. We remember that airplane in Europe that had some plutonium or nuclear material that was not registered that was going to Israel. But now, do you fear that Israel might use nuclear weapons against either its neighbors or against you?
Yes. When I will come to report this, my belief was that in the next war, in 1985, 86, it was going to be a next war with Syria or Iraq at that time. They must be using the bomb. The Israeli target was to surprise the Middle East by bombs and to declare its nuclear power by bomb. So I believe that it's going to be used in secret. And I was concerned not only about the Middle East, but also about all the world, because at that time we had the nuclear race between United States and Russia. In the very high level in Reagan time. There was at that time 100,000 bombs in both sides. So if it was starting a nuclear war here in the Middle East, it could immediately bring the Russian and the American to all this nuclear war, and then we can have a nuclear war in all the world. And I decided by revealing to them, I'll give the information to the world, and then the world will understand that the next war is going to be nuclear war, and that will prevent.
But I think, Mordechai, by revealing that, now the world knows how many bombs they have, and to me it's kind of working in Israel's advantage that we know what they have now, and no one is going to attack them because they know they got more than 200 nuclear bombs. So whatever you revealed actually worked to their favor, because now the world is scared of them.
That was my concern when I revealed these secrets. I knew in some way it's going to be to the advantage of Israel. But what can you do? Israel can use it as an advantage as to prove they are strong and they can do what they want. At the same time, as we saw, because they are very, very strong, there is no reason why they should not make peace. Why should the Palestinians be suffering in refugee camps, in occupation? So from one side, it makes Israel very, very strong, equal to the superpowers by their weapons. From the other side, they cannot play the game that they are under dangers, and they are the Palestinians damaging them, and the war should ignore the Palestinians' right and the Palestinian state, and should keep the occupation of the Golan Heights in Lebanon. So this is the problematic also for the Israelis, because now the world is telling them you are very, very strong, you have no dangers, why not make peace, why not give up the occupation of the Golan and the occupation of the West Bank?
Mordechai, to your knowledge, did the Israeli army use any nuclear material or nuclear weapon on the Palestinians? I mean, it doesn't have to be a bomb, but I mean, we noticed that some of these weapons they are using, it very much disintegrates human bodies. What do you think that material is?
They cannot use a nuclear bomb here in this region, and especially not against Palestinians. They can use the plated uranium. The uranium that has been used through the reactor can be used as a bomb in the shell, because this uranium is very strong material, and it can be contaminated with some radioactive material. So they can use the nuclear waste. It's not. I don't know nothing about it, but this is the possibility that it can be used. The nuclear waste, the uranium, depleted uranium that had been used in the reactor can be used in.
So the Israeli army is using depleted uranium against the Palestinians.
Yes.
Now let me ask you this. Now you spent 18 years in jail. 11 of those were in solitary confinement. You paid your dues for whatever crime the Israeli law had accused you of. But the last time we talked on the program was like 2 years ago, or probably a little bit more. You said there was a gag order that you're not supposed to be speaking to the media, to foreign media.
Yes.
Is that still the same thing? You're not supposed to be talking to the media?
Yes, these orders was given to me since my release, 2004, and they renew them each year. They renewed them in the last 4 years, and now this month, in April, they are going to decide if they will renew them again or they will end them. This order not to speak to foreigners. And I, as a human being, believing in humanity and freedom of speech, I didn't respect them, and I spoke and continue to speak. And for that reason, they arrested me and put me in trial. And now they find me guilty for speaking to foreign media, and they give me 6 months in prison. And this sentence will affect your period next month.
So you think you will be going back to jail for another 6 months?
That's what they want. They want me in prison for 6 months. According to this judge, they find me guilty of not respecting these orders.
Now, let me ask you this. I mean, a lot of people around the world are trying to work for your release. I have seen many demonstrations. I have seen many pictures and actually we have a lot of pictures that for people calling for your release, actually not your release, but your freedom, so you can be free to go. You can't even leave Israel or East Jerusalem even if you want to. Why are they holding you? Why don't they just let you go?
Well, that is what everyone asking, and that is also I don't understand what they gain by holding me here. I don't know. People say this is just revenge, huge revenge from Israeli security people because of their total failure in this case. From one side, you say that it is for their advance, from the other side, in the spy world and the community security committee in all the world, they regard this case as a very huge failure for the Israeli authorities, that a man from inside come and expose the most secrets. And they try to play like they want this information to come. They was behind it, but at the same time they need to explain how come that such case could happen that never happened in other states. So for this reason they are taking revenge, and that's what they try to do while I was in prison, fighting me, keeping me in isolation for 12 years, psychological warfare against me for 12 years in hope to break me and to prevent me from coming out and speaking again. So the people are saying it is a revenge what they are doing now. I believe it's not a simple revenge. They just don't want me to come to your show in America and speak to you, speak to all the people who are supporting my case and those who are open-minded to criticize Israel. Israel is also a media superpower. As we saw in the United States, they have a huge lobby, the Jewish lobby, the Zionist lobby, Israel lobby, and they don't want to damage by this case.
Okay.
So that is my belief.
Okay. Now tell me, I mean, all these years, when were you released? What year?
Yeah, April 2004.
No, when were you released from prison?
Yes, April 2004.
Oh, 2004, I'm sorry, okay. So from 2004 until now, how are you coping with everyday living, with your expenses, paying the rent? I mean, you have to have a job, so how are you making it?
Yes, that is a very good point, because if they don't want me to live, they should have provided me some way to live, because I cannot live in Israel. In Israel, I'm regarded as a traitor, a double traitor in religion, because I become a Christian. Before prison, I converted to Christianity, and in Israel, that's a very big crime, and the majority of the Israelis, Jewish, are against me just because I become a Christian, more than about nuclear stuff. So in Israel, I'm regarded as a traitor, and there was a lot of threat against my life, so I cannot live inside Israel, and I chose to live in the East Jerusalem among Palestinians. And I'm living in a hotel. I used to live in Anglican church hostel. Now I'm living in a very poor hotel, and I'm living by some contributions. Some very nice, good Christians and good people, supporters, anti-nuclear weapons, sending me some contributions.
Now, what about your legal defense? Do you have a good lawyer, a good expensive lawyer in Jerusalem?
I have a very good lawyer since I took him 20 years ago, and he is working very, very hard, but will never succeed. Because in Israel it's not enough good lawyer, in Israel you need good judge, and there is no good judge when it's come in a case like me, Christian against the state of Israel. So in this case, we have very, very good lawyer, but in Israel, in the name of the state security, all the judges following the government's order. There is no real judgment. They are just standing better these judges.
Okay.
So the lawyer didn't give up. and we continue to petition the High Court any year, every time. And he is receiving also some support to continue to work for me. But that is another expense that I need. And if I had more money, I could have spent
Now,
much
if
more
someone
time.
is going to help you, how can they reach out to you and get in touch with you? If some people listening to us or watching us, and also this program will go on and stay on the internet, so many people will see it, years to come. How can people help you?
There is a website in the United States with PayPal. They can approach PayPal and pay through PayPal, or they can also send money to my account. I have an adopted parents in St. Paul, Minnesota, and they have an account for me, and they can send money to this account in St. Paul, or they can send me also by the post check if they want.
Okay. Now, what is your website?
My website is just write Free Vanunu US and Google it, and you'll find a lot of information and website in America and videos you can watch.
So freevanunu.com?
Free Vanunu US.
freevanunus.com?
So?
Well, once they Google the name, they will have the website.
Yes.
Yes. Once you get Google the name, because it was right there. I had no problems. Mordechai, we're gonna go to the phones. We have people waiting to speak with you. We're going with John on line 1. Go ahead, John.
Yes, I'd like to ask Dr. Vanunu. Doctor, I'm sure you're familiar with the works of Lord Russell in disarmament. And how do you view yourself fitting in the year 2008 in the global community? Is it disarmament? Is it to reduce the lethality of the weapons, the possibility of use? Or what sort of moral dimension do you view yourself since you've gone through this extraordinary, horrible pain, but of course you did violate state secrets, and that is a very serious matter. And as you well know, we had 2 Jewish people we put to death for revealing secrets in our society. So the Jewish people handled your situation, I must say, very well.
Who did we put?
John,
who did we put to death for revealing secrets?
The Rosenthals in 1940.
Oh, I wasn't there.
Yeah, no, this was in our society. It was Jules and Ethel Rosen, but we put them to death and for espionage, and he did reveal state secrets, and that is a very, very serious matter.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we're going to kill everyone who revealed state secrets in the United States, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, we're going to have to probably do away with half of Washington.
Well, I think we're in a different, thank God, Doctor, we're in a different mental frame.
I wish if we were back in that frame so we can do the same thing.
I would like to get a cleaner insight into the moral dimension of what Dr. Vanunu is attempting to do with his freedom and his contribution to the world.
When he gets it. Very good. Thank you for the call. Did you get the question, Dr. Vanunu?
Yes. My answer is, first of all, about the revealing secrets. He should understand very clear and very strong that my case is not like the other Jewish who revealed secrets, because those Jewish who revealed secrets was spying, was revealing secrets to spy organization. I went to the newspaper, and my target was not to spy or to get information to any organization or to any government. My case was about to inform the people, informing him, informing the people in Washington, informing you, informing every human being, not about spying. That is big.
You were a whistleblower. You were not a spy, you were a whistleblower.
So that he should not compare me with those Jewish spies who betrayed their state for false belief. I did it for humanity and for the human race. About what I will do when I get out from here, my mission and my target was to make the Middle East free from nuclear weapons. That all the Middle East will be totally free, that no any state will trust and use atomic weapons. That is the target. That's what the Middle East people want. All the Middle East signed the NPT treaty, and the only Israel have the bomb. So the target is to help the peace and the coexistence of all the people in the Middle East without trusting weapons. And by not having weapons, then people will seek real peace and real existence of all the people there.
Okay, very good. Let's go to Vic on line 2. Vic, you're up.
Shalom to Mordechai over there in Israel. I don't want to thank you for answering my letters when I wrote to you when you were in Ashkelon prison.
Thank you very much.
And I think the previous caller was referring to the Rosenbergs. And we could bring up to the 1970s when Daniel Ellsberg revealed the Pentagon Papers. It might have been viewed as treason, but now he's a hero. So I think you are a hero. And we have your picture in our home here in Lafayette, Louisiana. And I would like to know how we could help you more. If you send information to Dr. Tillawi, I have good contacts with the press here in the United States. And I will do all that I can to get wider publicity to your heroism. I don't view you as a traitor. I see you as a hero. And keep it up, please. I will pray for you, and I hope they don't send you back to Ashkelon. But if they do, I'll write to you again, as I did before.
Thank you, and Mr. Tillawi have all the information, and he will provide it to anyone who want to.
Yes, all information will be on our website of how to get hold of Dr. Vanunu and how to contribute to his legal defense. Thank you, Vic, for the call. You have any questions?
No, you answered everything.
Thank you. Okay. So now let me go back to what he said. Now, once you gain your freedom, where would you like to go?
Well, I see here I have many friends in all over the world. I want to meet many friends to let them see me and to celebrate my release in all Europe and all United States and even far away in Australia, New Zealand, Japan. All the world was campaigning for me, and I will go meet, and I would like also to see the world. But my target is to settle somewhere in the United States or in Europe, and to have my own home, and I will be very glad and happy to do all what I can to promote the idea of abolition atomic weapons in the Middle East and even in all the world. That is my wish.
Okay.
I have many information and details to tell the world about my conclusion from world history that I read that can contribute to prevent the use of bomb and to seek real peace in all the world.
Mordechai, let me ask you this. Now let's go into the Palestinian-Israeli, what people like to call it, conflict. But, I mean, if most Israelis think that to redeem themselves they would have to cleanse the land from the Palestinians, and they believe that this is what God's wish is, that's their religious belief, and the land they are talking about, they are not going to give up the land for any Palestinian to live on. So do you see any solution to the Palestinian-Israeli problem under these circumstances, when the Israeli side think that if they negotiate with the Palestinians, God is going to be mad with them and they're not going to get their Messiah? How can you solve that problem? There's no solution for that. You need God to come down and tell these people that, hey, you misunderstood what I said, and you know that's not going to happen. So what's the end?
Well, I think it's very simple and very easy, because when this Israeli state was established, and by the help of Europe, the United States was about to give a place to the Jewish who have never had a state. So they can live here, these Jewish people who want and believing in what they believe. They can live, but they should live among the people who are living here. They have no obligation to kill and destroy others. And for that reason, the Jewish God will be mad with them if they will kill and destroy others. And they will bring the destruction of the third temple. You know, some people wrote that the mononuclear reactor is the third temple. And the second temple was destroyed. And this third temple, if they will trust the weapon and use them, this third temple, this Jewish state will be destroyed again by their own hand. So the way to live here and to survive and to try to accomplish, at least they can live here if they want, is if they will establish democracy and respect the Palestinian as a human being and as equal human being. And then those who believe they can live in their land and pray or go to their synagogue as they want, and they just respect others.
But that's not going to happen, though. That is because they are ordered, or they think they are ordered by God, to cross.
That's what is the problem. The problem is the Israelis, Jewish, want a Jewish state.
Exactly. And they believe that this is God's will. And they have to prepare it so the Messiah can come down. And the only way to prepare it is they have to cleanse it from every Christian and every Muslim, every non-Jew.
Yes. And that will send them to use the bomb, the nuclear weapons, and that will bring the destruction of all these dreams. So but I think slowly they realize that way is going to be totally destruction, and they slowly very much accept.
So do you think the Palestinians now that are engaged in negotiations with Israel, what's going on between Abbas and Olmert and Korea and Tzipi Livni, do you is this just like what are they doing? I mean, you know nothing is going to come out of these, so why are they doing it?
That's what I'm asking also the Palestinians, why they are negotiating, because everyone knows very well that the Israelis leave me, Olmert, just playing games. They don't want to give in, because how can you negotiate with the Palestinians at the same time you build the wall, you destroy people, you kill people, you build settlements? What kind of negotiation?
Because they have something else in mind.
Yes, so they are not really going to do real peace that the Palestinians will accept. But the Palestinians have no choice, they are under occupation, and they are the world blaming them as terrorists, so they try to play the game that they are really negotiating. And the Israelis, all what they want, the Israelis, is just PR, propaganda to the world, that they are negotiating peace. They don't really want real peace.
Okay. You are in East Jerusalem now, right?
Yes, I'm living in East Jerusalem all the time.
Okay, but I mean, you're not stripped of your Israeli citizenship, are you?
No, I have Israeli citizenship.
So are you free to travel throughout Israel?
The orders is I should report to the police where I'm going. They can prepare the spy to watch me everywhere. So I have to report if I want to go to Tel Aviv, I should be telling them 24 hours before I'm going tomorrow to Tel Aviv. But I decided I don't want to see Israel. I want to be free. I want them to respect my freedom to travel, and then I can choose where I'm going.
Mordechai, I hope, as we did before, and I hope our viewers and our listeners have gotten the scoop of your problem and your plight, and all you want is your freedom. You know, regardless of where people stand on your issue, if they look at you as a hero and a whistleblower or someone who revealed state secrets, you paid the price for the state secrets, and I think now keeping you kidnapped in your own home, or actually in your own country, your freedom, I guess it's much worse than having you in jail. At least in jail, everybody knows where you are, but now you are you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere, and you can't move on with your life. So I hope that we were able to get some people to help you tonight, and we will have the information on our website to try to get you some help. I just have time to say thank you very much, Mordechai, for coming on the program.
Thank you also for this program, and I want to say one point.
Sure.
This election in the United States now, the election of the new president, the next president, is very, very important. And these are knowing very well. So for that reason, Israel is very involved in the future election in the United States because the next president is going to deal with the peace in the Middle East and all these problems.
Very good, very good.
So you in the United States should understand that you're not only electing the president of the United States, but you are electing a man who will deal with the Middle East problem.
We're completely out of time. Good night. We'll